What's up, everybody? Ears Up in Depth. Here to scrounge up some news. Jeremy, this is a tough week. It's been a tough week. We just did the main show Thursday, and then it was a secret show. So I sort of have, plumbed the depths of whatever news bin I get my news out of. This was a challenging day today, but I think we're gonna have a good one anyway.
Well, it's a challenging day. You plumbed the depths. There isn't even anything going on, so it was like you were plumbing the shallows. I'm worried about this show for one reason, is because I really do make an effort not to be too negative. Believe it or not, this is me holding back lately. But same. I've got
I agree. I agree, and I get that same vibe. I'm trying to do the same thing because, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, I just don't want to have this be kvetch session 2023. Yeah. But I'm a little miffed, so I have some things to say. But instead of doing any sort of rant, I'm really trying to hold back tonight. I don't want to rant. I want to form a cohesive, cogent argument and leave it without ranting. That's what I'm going to try to do.
It would be interesting to try and chart the sort of progress of your average Disneyland fan or Disney fan. Like I wouldn't say we're Disney maniacs by any means, like Disney parks maniacs.
Yeah,
I think we're maybe on the high end of interest level in the parks, but I wouldn't say we're like, go all the time. Like we're not super freaks about it. We people wouldn't call us Disney adults. I don't feel right, that sort of term, where our house is covered in merch and we buy all the pins and all the souvenirs and all the buckets and we go to all the events. We do all the, like, we're not, we're not fanatical about it.
Right.
But it would be interesting though.
You say as you sit in front of a wall covered in.
Well, look, man, I had to rearrange. Like if you see the rest of my room, it is not like this at all. It's all just for show.
Right. It's the wall. It's the show wall.
Right. Yeah. The rest is just Chippendale souvenirs. It would be interesting to like chart the trajectory of a Disneyland fan over the years, right? Of like, oh, I'm really passionate about it. The more I learn about it, now I'm really into it. And then the more you pay attention to Disney news specifically, the more sort of jaded you get, because the company that you love so much is doing XYZ that you don't care for, that you think is ruining things, that's bad. Plus being online, like, both I'm terminally online usually. So I think a lot of that spills through, a lot of opinions kind of comes through, and you have to filter those out. And then eventually you calm down and you go, okay, whatever. And then you sort of don't know what to do with your misplaced anger and rage. And so you just swallow it. And then eventually you end up going back to the parks. There's an arc. It's more like a wave. It's definitely up and down for me, for sure. Like I was super into it. And then, like I said, the more you learn about it, the more news you hear about what the company itself does, and you separate the park from the company, that's where bad things happen. That's where bad vibes live.
Yeah. Speaking of bad vibes, I'm wearing new deodorant today, and it smells so bad. There's the problem with buying deodorant is you can't test it. You have to just roll the dice and trust that Cool Fresh is Cool Fresh and not awful.
Why don't you get unscented? First of all, I don't wear deodorant, so I don't know anything about it. I haven't worn deodorant in like 15 years.
So what happens?
Nothing. I don't stink.
Well, that's nice.
That's what Taryn says anyway. And I used to ask her all the time when I stopped wearing deodorant. I was like, do I smell? And she goes, no, I don't, whatever. So no one's ever told me. So if you're ever around me and you like come up to me and go, give me a big whiff and be like, hey, dude, yeah, here's some deodorant. Or, let me know. Just let me know. Give me the smell test and let me see if I, tell me if I smell or not. I don't know.
That's interesting. I haven't ever noticed that you smell, and I have been around you before. And it's because also my head is pretty much right at your armpit height. So
it's true. That's why I
probably would have smelled that.
Yeah.
But I didn't. It's not deodorant. It's antiperspirant. I want to clog the pores as much as possible. And
it's so bad for you though.
I know, but at this point, the way this smells, I'd rather have BO.
You know who else is like that? Taryn. Taryn used to buy she buys like the worst, female deodorant, and she thinks it smells cool. It's like cool cucumber or cucumber. It's like what I don't know what it is about like cucumber and feminine products like deodorant and lotions or whatever, where it's like, I mean, not deodorant and lotion like that's just purely feminine, but you know what I mean? Like in like secret for women, it's pH
Yeah.
balanced or whatever. And it's like bright cucumber. Like, what is this? This smells like the weirdest candle that you find in the discount rack at Target. It's just not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Cool fret. Whatever this Dove thing I'm wearing is no good. I got to go back to my right guard, Irish Spring.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's why I'm a little out of sorts.
Well, I get that, man. God, I was gonna say something to you before the show, and I was like, no, I'm gonna hold on to it, and then I lost it.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Hey,
previous show, yeah, go ahead.
I gotta. This is sort of news related, but like more of a rumor, but not about something coming to the parks. This is what I'm hearing is going on in the parks.
Oh, like an active thing. Okay, let's go.
So I have a friend who has a friend who works in the parks, and apparently at some of the quick service restaurants in the Magic Kingdom in Florida, the sort of like tertiary condiments like mayonnaise and ranch and things like that, like not ketchup and mustard, but they're not being put out. They're being held back so that you have to ask for them. And on top of that, allegedly, they're being told to keep track of how many they give out. And behind the counter is a white piece of paper with tally marks next to the kind of mayonnaise, ranch, or whatever they've given out that day. They're keeping track. That's what's going on, according to reports.
People who work there. That is, I believe it, but it's shocking. To me, that's a company in decline. That is some serious business. They are really struggling. That's a sign of a struggling business. Nobody counts mayonnaise packets. Nobody keeps track of ranch packets. You give me 10, give me one. However many the customer wants. I mean, I guess that's what they're doing, but like to make that an extra step. And these are the things, this is kind of what I'm saying, right? The more you learn about the parks, the more kind of nonsense they put you through. Now you have to go to the condiment station and then look around and go, oh, there's no ranch. And you have to go wait back in line, I guess, I imagine, and then go, hey, I just want some ranch. And then they have to, it's like, dude, why?
I don't know what this is about. And it just seems penny wise and pound foolish to me. Like you're spending all this money to re-theme Pacific Wharf, but don't give out the condiment. Like, how about just let us have mayonnaise?
Right.
So that's the latest thing. I literally, that's hot off the presses. That's within the last 2 hours. I've gotten that.
Wow. Is that, what park is that?
Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom.
It's definitely happening at Cosmic Rays and some other quick service places.
Good gravy.
So
speaking of
allegedly,
right. Yes. Speaking of hot off the presses, we did a show on Thursday with RGH. He sat in, or he did the show. It was about Genie Plus because he's used Genie Plus on both coasts a lot. Right. So he's like, hey man, you want me to come on and we'll talk about it? I was like, yeah, because I still know nothing about it. It's one of those secret societies where you have to pass it to know what's in it. It's kind of that thing. you got to buy it and then you can figure out exactly how you use it.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. I've bought it and used it and I still don't get it. I couldn't tell you how it works.
Well, RGH ran through it and he mentioned something. We're talking about how it works or when you can buy it or something like that in Disney World. Friday morning rolls around. Disney World makes this big announcement about how they're changing Genie Plus and all that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, talk about hot off the presses. You're like, man. Okay, here we go. I guess there's things are changing. And apparently it's like more confusing. We'll get into it, but just more hoops, more things to think about before you buy it.
That's all they do. They think they're making it better, and actually they're just making it more and more confusing.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Melinda's in the chat. She says people waste those packets. They do it at McDonald's. I mean, and that does make sense. And maybe they I'm trying to find the justification there. And maybe that's what it is. It's like to reduce landfill waste, maybe because they sort of see them in the trash all the time or whatever and go, hey, look, we're wasting too many of them or something like that. But maybe put them in the pump. Well, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, give us the pumps.
Give us the pump me. I need it. I need to be pumped.
Yeah, maybe people were people putting their heads underneath. See, because I could just see that happening. Like some TikToker would see that and then squirt it right into their mouth.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I could see that too. Speaking of weird things, and then we'll get into the news in a second.
Sure.
We have the Discord channel.
Yes, that is a weird thing.
That is a weird thing. I set up a channel within Discord, within our server, to work with the AI art, like OpenAI.
Okay.
And so you can get in there now. It's a specific channel. So if you join the Discord, and it's free, you just get in the channel and you can just type in things and it'll generate art for you. It's kind of cool.
Oh,
just
art,
another thing.
Like artwork. Okay.
Artwork. Yeah.
I thought art was like some acronym. You're like AI, ART, and I was like, oh yeah. Well, God, I already don't know.
It's those buses that run up a bell or a ball or whatever. Catella.
It's
the art bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I really did think that
if you're in the Discord,
no,
woman, you can. But if you're in the Discord and you want to mess around with AI artwork, but don't really know how to figure it out, come in the Discord. It's right there. It's free and it's ready for you.
So what? I go in the Discord and I type
you type / imagine and then a space and you write a prompt like 15 tacos riding a rhino or something like that, and it'll generate it.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
You look disturbed. Are you in fact okay?
And yes, I'm doing. I got a whiff of my right pit, and I had to sort of just digest that.
Well, Jerry, why don't you go first, and then it'll prevent you from breathing in your own funk.
This is my big story for tonight. With the overhaul of EPCOT waning, Imagineering is peeing on my leg and saying it's raining. This is from an article in USA Today featuring Executive Creative Director of Walt Disney Imagineering, Scott Malwitz.
Jeez, that's a name.
Yeah, Scott Malwitz. I'm going to give you advanced warning. I'm not a fan of this guy after this article. The article I'm going to give you most of the article and then insert some of my commentary. EPCOT has changed. Future World is gone. New neighborhoods are taking shape, and it's hard to envision what's next with construction walls obscuring one of the largest transformations in the Florida park's history. It's a lot for Epcot fans to take in. Meanwhile, it's not hard at all. The monorail goes above the construction walls. You can look down on it anytime you want to. It's not hidden. So Mark Walwitz says, we're Epcot fans as well. I was here a couple weeks after it opened, first year, and I had the opportunity to visit, and I was blown away. Many years later, to be able to come back and lead a team thinking about how to set the park up for the next 30 years is just incredible. So he's pulling back the curtain for us, and he says in order to see Epcot's future, we've got to go back first, right? So according to USA Today, Epcot's going back to form. Walt Disney's vision was an actual city, and Imagineers revisited his ideas for inspiration for the park's current transformation. So they're going back and looking at Walt's ideas for the original community of tomorrow to incorporate into the future of Epcot, which seems pretty interesting to me. And he says, we wanted to think about what were they thinking? What challenges were presented? What weren't we able to do that was part of the original version that, that kind of like what we could do now. So that's got me excited.
That sounds cool, dude.
The idea that Imagineering is going to go back to Walt's vision for this thing and start to steer it in that direction, like now I'm getting pretty happy. And how does this manifest itself, you ask? Well, his first example is if you look at the floor of Creations Cafe and Eatery, which opened last year, you can see some of that vision in the renderings of the original Progress City. So the first big way that they are steering this towards Walt's vision is the floor tiles in the quick service.
Yeah.
And they look like the old Progress City model. That's the big thing. Number one, right off the bat. Floor
Number one,
tiles.
look down. Yeah, look down at the floor and think about what's not here right now.
So automatically, I'm kind of like, I don't know if that's what I'd lead off with if I was making a community of tomorrow is the design of the floor tiles. But
I mean, it's important, sure, but
yeah, I've also
literally anything else would have been probably more well received,
right.
unless they're
Well,
starting low and ramping up.
yeah, they're not. So
Okay.
so also having watched this transformation over the last 37 years, because it's been going on for literally that long. This other Imagineer, Zach Ridley's constantly showing us paint chips and floor tiles and any like rock work and everything constantly. It's all he posts about. It's like, where are the rides? You said you were going to do new rides, new shows, and you keep talking about floor tiles and shades of paint. Like, I'm over this. So that's the first thing he says. Then they talk about easing the brutalist design. One thing guests can expect is more open spaces, like Walt envisioned for the residents of EPCOT. Guests may already note. First of all, EPCOT has plenty of open space.
That knocked my jaw straight out of alignment. More open space? Are you crazy? There's too much open space. Drop some trees in there, man.
I'm ballroom
Gravy.
dancing in there. You can shoot a cannon off.
You can hold the Super Bowl in Epcot.
Right. It is huge. Guests may already notice a shift away from what Malwitz refers to as we need a big building, we need a big building, we need a big building, and that brutalist architecture. What is this guy talking about? He's leading the charge for Epcot, setting it up for a future. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. What's brutalist about the Land Pavilion? It's built to design like to look like a hill, to look like a mountain coming out of the horizon. It looks like a really big greenhouse. And when you walk up to the land, there's actually a big opening in the roof. And up through that opening is where the trees grow. And that is meant to symbolize the theme of the land, which is symbiosis and our relationship with the earth and how it has to be kind of a give and take, mutually beneficial thing. I don't see how that's so brutalist. Like, that seems beautiful and symbolic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could think some of the buildings, like after Spaceship Earth, the sort of gray, angular, there is a lot of concrete. I mean, that's one thing that was really striking when I was, passing that going to World Showcase. There's a ton of gray, a lot of concrete. It very much felt like, Soviet Russia. But, have to like get to the checkpoint before I can get my papers over to get into to World Showcase. So maybe that's what it is, but I wouldn't call it brutalist. I mean, that's like the term for that's the term for architecture, yes. But I wouldn't call anything in there categorically brutalist. Because like brutalist is like, 8 foot, 10 foot, story buildings entirely of concrete, maybe small windows or whatever. It's like that is not that. So I think he's being a little
and harsh angles
a little bit. Yeah.
Which makes me think of Communicore, which is two half circle buildings with rounded edges, high ceilings, light, airy, glassy corridors. I'm not seeing what's brutal about that either. I do think that if you look up at the true definition of brutalist architecture, I suppose that it does encapsulate a lot of the big buildings at Epcot, but they're all sort of telling a story. Horizons looked like a horizon line. World of Motion was a wheel. Like, they're supposed to be sculptures that interpret, the message that they're sending. The Living Seas, it curls and it almost looks like a squid from the top down. So, and it has waves crashing on the front of it. So I do think, like, technically brutalist, yes, just, concrete, brick, exposed. It's supposed to show the building materials. There's nothing decorative about it. I just think that these decorations tell their story. He says, go ahead.
Sorry. I think that is, that sort of aesthetic invokes part of the park as well, part of Epcot. And I think that's sort of the draw of Epcot. It doesn't really look like anything else. Yeah. And the way that they did those designs, even though there's a lot of concrete and, it could always be everything could always be improved, except Main Street Disneyland. Let's just be honest. But so you could add something here or there, but I wouldn't say it needs an overhaul because it's brutalist and whatever. You would be taking away the aesthetic of the last 35 years or however many years it's been open, right? That's that's what that's what the place is. It's synonymous, right? You think Epcot, you think it's concrete buildings and these cool angles and these cool designs, sort of futuristic, but now it's like retro futuristic, and that's what you think about. I shudder to think what's going to happen with that. It's not going to be what it is now, which is what people like.
Well, he goes on to say that the problem with brutalism is that unless you introduce the art piece, it just becomes a giant sculpture that you don't know how to relate to. I think that's what's happened with some of our buildings over the years, and now we're going back and peeling back.
What the hell does that mean?
It
What
means
does that
nothing.
mean? Peeling back what? The floor tiles?
Yeah, well, they knocked down half of Communicore. My friend put it best. The only thing brutal about the buildings in Epcot is the Guardians of the Galaxy show building, the big rectangle. Hold on, I'm not ranting. Hold on. They built a big blue box show building hovering above the gorgeous architecture of World Showcase. I'd call that brutal.
That's right.
I wouldn't call the gorgeous geodesic sphere reflecting the sun brutal. I wouldn't. How dare this guy? So here's what I don't like.
Yeah.
You're on the team, buddy. Don't shit on the artists whose shoulders you are standing on. You can take Epcot forward without very publicly going in the press to USA Today and bad-mouthing the work of your predecessors. And by the way, something a lot of us really love and have been going to, and he's crapping all over it. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Just say, here's the new direction moving forward. You don't have to talk about how bad what we had was. I mean, this place earned awards. These Imagineers were revered. And now now they're building Guardian Show building. Oh, you think that what was brutal? The harmonious barges. That was pretty brutal. Blocked all the sight lines. You could see all the girders coming out. I don't know. I think that's kind of brutal. So this is my issue with this guy. He says Imagineers are removing physical barriers and leaning into the park's hyper symmetrical organization, another signature of Walt Disney's plans. This is precisely the opposite of what they are doing. Even the concept art isn't symmetrical. They had a symmetrical center. It was Communicore, 2 half circles facing each other. They demolished one of them. Now there's one. Then they built back a quarter of the other one, but it doesn't match the other one because the one is smooth and this one's all angular because it's cheaper to build angular buildings than it is to build like rounded buildings. So I don't understand that. Like, how can you say that and then give me no example of where you've built symmetry, but I can see a million of where you've destroyed it?
Maybe he means when he says lean into it, he means to charge at it to knock it down. Like a linebacker. That's probably what it is.
So we've got 4 new worlds at Epcot. One of them's not new. It's World Showcase, but the former Future World is carved into 3 neighborhoods: World Celebration, World Nature, and World Discovery. He says, I think Future World as a concept was difficult to understand. I think the only reason it became easier to discern is that it wasn't World Showcase. So bad concept, Imagineers. You sucked. Yeah. That wasn't even easy to understand. It was totally easy to understand. It was a place. Epcot was a showcase for prototype concepts. That's what it was. It's not that people didn't understand it. It's that these Imagineers weren't creative enough or funded enough to maintain it and take it forward.
I think it's funding. I have a feeling it was all tied into how many guests went over there. Probably not a whole lot of people were going over there, so they didn't give them funding, and then they just went to someone else's bottom line.
How can these Imagineers go out publicly and just trash this park and the previous Imagineers? I'm actually shocked that this is Disney being publicly allowing this. Is there no communications director?
Probably not. I think they got fired.
Oh, that's right. That guy did get fired.
See, there you go. I wonder if, I mean, it could very well be that. This sort of goes back to something I was saying on Thursday's show, where Disney doesn't know what the fans want. Just, I think inherently they don't know what we want. You know, they're re-releasing the old Disney cartoons, but they're cleaning them up so they look like they're digital, like they look brand new.
Right. Yeah.
So they're taking all like the little, you know, scrapes and stuff off the negatives, and the thing that makes it feel old and vintage, it's not like that anymore. It looks like you could recreate it in, you know, friggin' iMovie these days. It looks bad with some of the merch, with a lot of the merch, with this kind of stuff, with this weird concept stuff. It's like, what are we doing? Like Princess and the Frog, putting Tiana literally everywhere in New Orleans Square and sort of fundamentally changing the way that little neighborhood feels.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff. So I wonder if this guy's just not terminally online on some subreddit somewhere and listening to people bitch about how EPCOT looks or whatever, and then thinks that that's the majority of Disney fans. They think that's what they want is, oh, we don't go to EPCOT because it looks terrible. Well, no, I mean, you can say that about anything. Everybody can have an opinion about something, right? It doesn't mean that it's correct, except for ours. So it almost feels like he's taking a small section of the online community and taking that as gospel. Like, well, this is what the real hardcore fans think. And it's not. I think it's the exact opposite. I think if you don't understand that park, this is the way you feel about it. That there's no symmetry and whatever. And it's like, yeah.
It's been the second most popular park in the world consistently for 40 years. So I don't really care who doesn't get it. You're there in the minority.
Right.
It's a wildly popular park.
Right.
I also think what is the purpose of this press? Ultimately, I would imagine that they're sending Imagineers out and letting them get interviewed and doing all this because it's supposed to build publicity. I haven't heard any exciting detail. I'm reading you this article almost verbatim and then adding in my commentary. Have you heard anything that is making you want to go there? Nothing about these attractions. Nothing about it's like so far the most tangible thing that I have been able to discern in this article is a floor tile and symmetry, which isn't true, and a whole lot of bashing of what used to be.
Right.
So, I mean, he does get into this Moana Journey of Water, which I guess he thinks is just so great. But he says World Discovery leans into Epcot's original themes of innovation and ingenuity with the added ingredient of adrenaline. All three of its attractions get guests' hearts pumping. Let's energize ourselves about innovation, ingenuity, and exploration. He says you get all that over there in World Discovery. I'm sorry. The plaque to go into Epcot says, may Epcot Center entertain, inform, and inspire, and above all, may it instill a new sense of belief and pride in man's ability to shape a world that offers hope to people everywhere. It doesn't say anything about Chris Pratt and a raccoon. So
yeah, nowhere in there's adrenaline. I think it's okay to not have adrenaline in every park. You know, there's something for everybody, and Epcot is that something for a lot of people.
Well, if you are someone who has issues with motion sickness, that entire side of the park is now off for you because there's nothing. It's just thrill rides with hardly any education at all or even information. What are you getting out of Guardians of the Galaxy apart from adrenaline?
Right.
I don't even understand the story. So he says, you know, we're groundwork for continued evolution, but also keep it focused on our Epcot messaging. That's what we're working on behind those walls. So I don't know. That's what they're out touting this. I don't even really understand the point of this article other than to beat up on the legacy of Epcot and anyone who liked it and anyone who created it. And, you know, also it fails to mention all the things that we didn't get that we were promised: an updated China movie in the China Pavilion, an attraction in the United Kingdom Pavilion, a new play pavilion, an update to Spaceship Earth, the park's icon. I mean, a multi-level event and dining space in the center of the park. All these things were supposed to happen and didn't come true. We've got like 2 rides and a nighttime spectacular that they've already had to rip out.
Jeez.
The end.
Awesome. Just completely awesome stuff. I love it.
I hope that wasn't too ranty.
No. Here's something that's not ranty, Jeremy. I'm familiar with an actress, a little known actress called Jamie Lee Curtis.
Ooh, yeah, I really like her. She was in that movie My Girl with Macaulay Culkin.
Was she?
I mean, this is years ago, opposite Dan
Okay.
Aykroyd. He
Oh, yeah, I
dies.
don't know.
Spoiler.
Oh my gosh.
Not Dan Aykroyd, Macaulay.
Well, apparently Jamie Lee Curtis and who else was there? Owen Wilson were in
Sure.
Disneyland this past weekend to do some promo taping for promos for the Haunted Mansion movie that apparently they're both working. Jamie Lee Curtis is playing Madame Leota. So they were doing some press in Disneyland, and they were on a balcony. I believe it's the balcony above for the Dream Suite, I think.
No, that looked like the balcony to the Haunted Mansion.
No, I don't think. No, I'm looking at it right now, like a reverse angle. It's not that far in because you can see Big Thunder right off of it. I think it's a Dream Suite balcony.
But look at all that wrought iron work on the railing.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that straight off the front of
I
Haunted
mean,
Mansion?
no. Oh, I mean, I'm sure it's the same.
Oh,
Is it? See, this is the thing. I don't. It might be. I don't think it is though. I wish I knew exactly where this was, but it looks like more towards the front of Rivers of America,
okay.
and the Haunted Mansion would be. I don't think it's the Haunted Mansion, although it could be. You could be absolutely right, but I don't think so. I want to say it's the Dream Suite because there's like the crest in the middle of the filigree that's gold painted, and I think that's Roy and Walt's initials.
Got it.
I think, and so that's gold in there, and I think that's what's going on.
That would make sense.
But anyway, so she was up there hanging out, and apparently she started interacting with theme park goers, and yelling at them, basically.
What is she?
Well,
yelling?
she's yelling about Freaky Friday 2, and so here's a audio clip of the video.
I'm Madame Leota. Have you been on the ride? I have big hair. Big hair, don't care. Oh, I have to get a picture of that. And I'm gonna be a Disney legend. Don't tell them. I don't know talking to.
People down there.
No, when she was. Is this
Oh,
your
that's
night?
my friend is head of
Look
and
at
they
me.
decided to
Fancy.
and she went, what?
I don't know how long this stupid thing is, but anyway, it's Dream Suite for sure because you can see the line for pirates right there.
I just saw, and also because now there are some pictures of them in front of Haunted Mansion, and the wrought iron work is different.
It's
so
different,
You're,
yeah,
you're
okay.
absolutely right.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm super smart. But apparently, when she's like chatting with these people down there, she's saying, "Oh, I played Madame Leota, whatever." And then someone asked her about the Freaky Friday 2 movie, and she says, "We're gonna make one next year." So you got a little inside info there from Jamie Lee Curtis herself, the Scream Queen, saying, "Freaky Friday 2 is officially happening next year."
You know,
And,
sometimes
Yes.
there's times where you can really feel like casting it nails it or it doesn't. And to me, this is obviously we haven't seen the movie yet, but I think it's perfect casting just from what I know of Jamie Lee Curtis and
She's
her
great.
voice. I think she's going to be fantastic in this role.
I would love to interview her. I would love to do that. I would love to meet her. She's like full of energy, and she seems like one of those Hollywood weirdos that that are just like normal people. She just seems like a normal person. Like there's some people like I can't think of anyone at the top of my head. Like maybe Bill Murray, maybe kinda. I don't know. He seems kind of weirdo normally. Or like David Lynch seems like David Lynch all the time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? There are people who are just like, this is just me. But Jamie Lee Curtis just seems like a person who gets on screen and acts, and then she's done, and then she's just like a cool person. But there's people who are really, you can tell that they're full of themselves, like Quentin Tarantino.
Oh yeah.
De Niro, I think, might be that way a little bit too. I can't imagine De Niro being just like a regular dude.
No, not at all.
Nicholson would be one of those guys that I think it's just that's who he is.
Okay.
He's just kind of intense all the time and that's why he's so great. He can just channel it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But yeah, no, she's gonna be great. I'm excited for it. Owen Wilson, I don't know. Never really been the best actor.
Who does he play in this?
I don't know. Hopefully the dog. Hopefully the groundskeeper dog. That'd be cool. I don't know. Let's take a quick break, Jer.
Okay.
We'll come back. We'll wrap up the news here. Hang on, everyone. It's Ears Up in Depth. We'll be right back.
Back to the newsroom on In Depth.
All right, welcome back, everybody. All right, Jer, what you got?
Disney Parks blog is making us aware of the changes at San Francisco Square. Have you heard about this? They're updating Pacific Wharf. I don't know. Maybe we've talked about it. I don't even know what I've said anymore.
I think we've talked about it when it was first announced, but we don't really know anything. I think the consensus was that we're okay with it, but also, why are you changing the location from an actual location, sort of, to like literally nothing that exists ever in this park dedicated to the state of California?
Well, but it seems that that's what they've done, right? Like
Right,
Paradise
yes.
Pier.
Yeah. Slowly,
Pier.
everything's just changing to nothing that's ever been in reality at all. Which I guess is fine.
I guess.
I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I know. I kind of feel the same way you do. But anyway, that's what's happening. If you were a fan of Pacific Wharf, which is basically just a food court.
Yeah.
Which is fine. We need a food court. You have to, if you're going to have a food court, have a themed one. So great. Pacific Wharf. Food was pretty good there. It's the area, if you're not familiar with Pacific Wharf, where the Boudin Bakery and its famous free samples of sourdough bread were given out.
Famous free samples.
Right? I feel like that was like the big deal there. Oh, we're going to go get the samples. Because you had the bread tour or something. And, there's a Ghirardelli's over there. Well, it's being rethemed, as we said, from Pacific Wharf to San Francisco, which is the setting for Disney's Big Hero 6 movie, which came out a few years ago, which I actually really like, which is surprising because I generally don't like any of their movies. So we've got some more details coming out today or this week from the Disney Parks blog. There's new menu offerings will be coming to the food eateries starting as early as July, which really is not that long far away. Right? What isn't it already the 26th? Geez, where did June go? According to Disney Parks blog, you'll be able to sample new San Francisco selections at Lucky Fortune Cookery and the Port of San Francisco Cerveceria. Well, because that's going to officially open in the weeks following. Additional dining options, unique shopping, and more will be introduced as the transformation of this thriving seaside plaza continues through mid-August. So apparently in mid-August, this is all going to be done. When the
I love more places to buy the same stuff. It's all the same crap. I'm so fed up. I'm so fed up with like just the choices that you have to buy stuff. It's all very cheaply made crap at exorbitant prices.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in another shopping area. I'm really not. Do something else. Give me a meet and greet. Give me a food kiosk. Give me I don't know, something. Give me anything. Give me a locker to rent. But another merch store? Awesome. Can't wait to be uninspired.
Well, there is going to be, outside of the Hamada bot shop, guests will be able to interact with Hero and Baymax, who will be there to say hello. So I guess this is a character meet and greet. So
okay, I love that.
You asked, granted.
I love it.
All right. What else? When the transformation is complete, locations across the area from the Cappuccino car outside the San Francisco Gate Bridge to the bakery tour will be decked out in street art and colorful banners celebrating the Big Hero 6 team after their victory over Yokai.
Okay, I think that's very garish, but that's okay.
You're looking forward to some banners?
Sure. I mean, I guess it's something. I have a feeling it's more of like to block the view from people trying to watch World of Color from the bridge. But yeah, I don't know. It's just me.
Next up is the San Francisco Makers Market, which will feature unique apparel, homewares, and more featuring Baymax and friends. So you wanted different stuff? Apparently, this is going to be unique.
Okay.
All of your wishes are coming true in San Francisco.
Sounds like it. I do hope it's somewhat in the vein of that market in Star Wars Land, where things look sort of homemade and sort of like dumbed down a little bit.
Is that Doc Ondar's?
No, no, it's just
Oh,
like the
okay.
open air market right there.
Oh, got it.
That would be cool, because that stuff is arguably like very unique. But if it's just another Baymax plush, I don't care.
I have a feeling you're going to see a Baymax plush.
Yeah.
Maybe some other things in addition to, but I have a feeling that'll be there. Across the way, a vending machine will dispense collectible golden medallions featuring Baymax and other iconic images from San Francisco. They released an article to tell us that there's going to be a vending machine.
A vending machine.
And then we released a podcast to talk about it.
Is that because like there's a lot of vending machines in Japan? Maybe like is that a thing? But dispense a gold coin? I don't know. Back to my thing. I don't think Disney really knows what people want. I don't think they really are tied in with the kind of merch that we want or the experiences that we want. A vending machine? No one cares.
I don't think that. Listen, Big Hero 6 is a great movie, but I don't think that anyone was clamoring for this.
No, I don't think so either. I think the people who are excited for it like the movie and are excited for something new, but I don't think that they know what they're excited for. You know what would even be cooler than this is to like I said, Japan has a lot of vending machines. They have vending machines all over the place with a lot of cool stuff in them. It'd be cool to get some like Japanese sodas or something like that over here. The kind of like sour sodas and stuff that you don't get. Run those in a vending machine. Do something cool and automated, sort of like that. But just a collectible coin, awesome. So cool.
It's just easy for them to do.
It is, and it shows.
Well, as we said, it is a glorified food court. Let's check out some more of the offerings. Familiar favorites will be available along with new options, including Aunt Cass Cafe, which seems to be an overlay of the Boudin Bakery, as they will serve soups in freshly baked sourdough bread bowls there, and more inspired by Japanese cuisine. Uh-oh.
Talk about the most uninspiring friggin' transformation ever. That's so like just low effort. It's such the most low effort. I mean, it makes sense in the theme where it's like, oh, it's the bowl. You serve it in the bread bowl. But let me tell you something about San Francisco. The only place you can get like clam chowder in a bread bowl is at Pier 35, Pier 39. That's it. Like the tourist area. That's it. San Francisco is not, we're not all walking around eating bread bowls, like, high-fiving each other, but on our way to go surf. That's not like an authentic San Franciscan experience. Is a bread bowl made, it's just not. So I don't know why this is like, so in some ways it fits like, okay, San Francisco bakery, they're doing the bread bowl like thing, you got the thing. Okay. Overlay it. That's cool. So you kind of keep the San Francisco, Tokyo mashup. That's fine. But I don't know, man. I mean, I can't, dude. That's so okay. I love it. Continue on.
An old fishing net tannery across from the cafe is being converted to Rita's Turbine Blenders, a giant drink dispenser offering delicious margaritas and icy beverages.
Okay.
Everything you say you want, they're delivering in this article.
Well, what they're doing is they're not removing it.
Oh,
the margarita machine
there?
is still there. Yes, it's there. It's the whole thing. It's like the little kiosk right in the middle. The bread bowl stuff still there. Yeah. What else is new? Let me tell you, if the Lucky fortune cookery is still there, that's it. Case closed, man.
It is.
Okay. What's it called?
I think that's not changing its name. I think I had that above.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's staying.
God,
basically this article should be like, we're decorating.
Yeah, it's an overlay. It was that all the food was that all the food updates you had? I'm sorry I interrupted you, but
let me see. I mean, these locations, I guess there's new menu items coming to Cocina, Cucamonga, and Ghirardelli Soda Fountain.
Cocina, but Cocina. Cocina is
that would be like Italian,
feminine dirty. Like cochino is like masculine dirty. Spanish has feminine and masculine words. Cochina is like cochina. That's
Oh.
dirty. That's dirty.
I thought that was sucia.
That's, I think, filthy. Cochina is like pig.
Oh,
kinda
they have
thing.
more
Yeah.
than one word for dirty.
Sure, why not? But yeah, just so you know.
Well, thank you for that Spanish lesson. I appreciate it.
De nada.
The the Disney Park blog ends the post by asking, and I'm not kidding, on a scale of 1 through 10, how would you rate your excitement? I'm going with a solid 1.5. That's the end of the article.
On a scale.
Like, what are they doing? Because how could you expect me to be a 10? I would give a 10 if you were going to tell me that World of Color is coming back. A 10 is we're bringing back Illuminations. A 10 is we're building a new roller coaster. A 10, I can't possibly rate the retheme of a food court as a 10. So don't give me that option.
The whole article reminds me of that South Park episode where everyone's just smelling their own farts because everyone's sort of driving a Prius. That's sort of what it is with this company sometimes, where they go, aren't you guys ramped up for this? We took one thing and we're making it very similar, only with slight moderate adjustments. How excited are you?
Yeah, 9. What do you want from me? I can't be that same level of excited for this as maybe the new nighttime show that's coming up. Like I don't know. I can't do it.
It's almost like words have a meaning.
Yeah,
right?
it is almost like, and numbers. I would save this for a much bigger announcement. I would save that verbiage.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. So the Mexican restaurant staying.
It seems to be that way. Yes. From what I can tell.
So, and what about Ghirardelli? That's gone too?
No, that's staying.
Okay.
But they're getting, those two are there and staying, and they seem to be getting some new menu items.
It's very weird that only some of the things in that Pacific Wharf area are going away, but they're getting rethemed. They're not really going away, but then most of them aren't. You get the Lucky Fortune Cookery, Ghirardelli, Mexican restaurant, that's all staying the same. It's only 2 things. It's like, are you changing it or are you not changing it? Are you retheming it or are you not doing it? You're just carving out some of it, but not anything else. Like, why not just do the whole thing differently? Just make the whole thing different. Why keep the same stuff?
I guess some of those things already are still that theme appropriate. Also, Ghirardelli's branded, so they'd have to break a contract.
So is Boudin.
There you go. Oh wait, but that's going away.
Right.
Or maybe that's going to be like sub-branded in there. I don't know.
It seems weird. It just seems kind of half-assed. I don't know.
I didn't realize Boudin is a thing.
Yeah, it's
beyond there.
Sourdough bread company.
Well, good job. Good, Boudin.
Yeah. Boo to you, Mickey's Halloween party. Yeah, so I mentioned Jeremy on the last Thursday show with Ryan. We talked about Genie Plus and what it is and how you can, kind of scam free rides off it too, which is kind of fun. And then the next day, Disney announced a brand new change to its pricing for Genie Plus, but I think only in Disney World. So we're here to just make a little addendum for that. Currently, Disney World sells Genie Plus at a demand-based price, no matter which of the company's 4 parks you plan to visit that day. That's something that's going to change, according to a memo from the company, first reported on by Blog Mickey, which is such a good name. Quote, beginning June 27th, guests at Walt Disney World will now purchase Disney Genie Plus service based on how they want to visit. Guests will be able to select either a single park option or a multiple parks option, subject to availability. With this update, prices may now be lower at some Walt Disney World theme parks compared to others. Guests will continue to be able to purchase Disney Genie Plus service through the My Disney Experience app on the day of their first visit. Apparently, it's a small change, but a meaningful one, as it's possible that if you're visiting a less crowded park and only that park, you can still buy Genie Plus, but at a lower price than if you were visiting, Magic Kingdom or whatever. In theory, that will save people some money and slightly lessen the financial burden of visiting the parks. Oh yeah, because $10 is really going to make a big difference.
Right, you're already paying so much more for the park hopper. I don't know.
It's weird. Yeah, weird. But there you go. So Genie Plus is now going to be, park by park, it sounds like. And it's going to be tiered pricing based on what park you're visiting.
Well, and my other question is does it mean that am I really saving money, or are they just going to raise Magic Kingdom higher and keep the other ones where it was? Like
Yes.
they just fluctuate. It's not necessarily, it's not like it's going to go below what it is today necessarily. Maybe it will, but I don't think that has to be the way it is because it's dynamic. They can do whatever they want.
Right. Well, and by how much cheaper? Is it $5? I think this is some of the psychology of pricing definitely plays a hand in what they set these prices at. Because if you make the let's say Animal Kingdom Genie Plus price too low, I think it then you sort of question why is it so expensive at Magic Kingdom? You know what I mean? So I don't think they can discount it too much. The disparity between the two parks can't be that much.
Right.
Because I think it highlights how much extra you're actually spending.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe $25 for Magic Kingdom and 20 or 18 for Animal Kingdom. That sounds, that's fair, but like $10 or more, I don't think it'll ever be that different.
Well, I think people agree with you. I read a tweet from user at NukuNuku29 who says no one in the Disney fan community should be applauding this change requiring park-specific Genie Plus upgrades. Rates for Genie Plus applying to a park hopper are already astronomically high. Also, going to a slower park is saving you what? $3? Expect better, demand better. Not happy over there.
No. But it's true.
Yeah.
Vote with your wallet.
Vote with your wallet.
I got two brief updates here, Jeremy. One,
okay,
because you're all done, right?
Well, I have a brief update.
Oh, well, then go ahead. Give me your update, buddy.
This is hot off the presses today. Also, it's very scant on detail, but Run Disney changed their spring race. It used to always be a Star Wars race, and now they've added, it's called the Springtime Surprise. So every year they change the theme and it rotates.
Okay.
This year it is going to be themed to Stitch, Lilo and Stitch, and they're adding the Stitch Challenge. So if you do the 5K, the 10K, and the 10 miler, you get the Stitch Challenge. The dates have not been announced for the Springtime Surprise, but they will be in April of 2024. So this is just a little bit of a news update from Run Disney today.
That's cool. I wonder if that's when the Lilo and Stitch live action movie opened, somewhere around that time, I would guess.
Oh, that would make sense. And also they announced it on today, which is June 26th, which is 626. And the reason that they announced it on 626 is because that's Stitch Day, because Stitch, I guess in the movie, is before he's called Stitch, his name was Experiment 626. So we got that announcement today.
I did see some things for like cool treats on the park for 626 Day, and I'm like, oh, okay.
That's what it is. It's all about Stitch.
There you go. Okay, a couple brief announcements. We talked about Elemental and how it didn't really do that well, that Pixar movie. Was it on this show or was it one of the other shows? Anyway, whatever.
I think it might have been the other show, but it had a pretty poor opening, right?
Yeah, poor domestic opening for sure. After two major studio movies bowed last week, I don't know. This session was one of... What the hell? This sentence makes no sense. This session was one of holdovers for Hollywood with mixed... Oh, I think I know what they're saying. Last weekend's box office leader, The Flash, which had initially come in lower than projected, added $26.6 million in 78 offshore markets this weekend, dropping by 59%. The Warner Brothers DC Deep Universe title now counts as international runnings total of 123 million for 211 worldwide. Disney Pixar's Elemental, meanwhile, had better holds in its second frame, which is second weekend, I guess, sliding by just 18%. Korea is particularly notable with strong social scores, and this was up there. Anyway, whatever. In regards to the full overseas session for Elemental, it was $31.3 million in 40 markets, bringing the offshore total to $55.6 million and a global take of 121. That's all. Basically, Elemental is dominating overseas. Well, not dominating, but they're doing great overseas.
All right.
So there you go. There's that. And apparently, over on the Marvel Studios side, someone shot down a drone. And I don't really understand. This was above the set of Disney Plus's Secret Invasion set, I guess, or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
So what do you think? Someone was trying to spy on the recording,
Yeah.
the making this, and they shot it?
Yeah. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly, Nick Fury actor Samuel L. Jackson revealed they suffered issues with fans flying drones over the set of Secret Invasion, seemingly in an effort to uncover and leak spoilers. The legendary actor added how they even, quote, shot one down and traced another back to its location of origin and got the pilot in question. He says they shot one down and they followed one back to where the dude was. They found him and yeah, they got him. Okay.
Maybe that's what the Chinese weather balloons were. They were just trying to see what they're making in this Marvel slot.
Yeah. Emilia Clarke, who plays Talos's daughter Gia in Secret Invasion, added how her casting was followed by a terrifying video meeting with Marvel's security team that led her to be scared someone would, quote, come and kill her. She says, I was like, I think a man's going to come and kill me if I say anything. What are you talking about? Eventually she added that she chilled out, making reference to her time on Game of Thrones, how it just sucks when spoilers leak, although denied that she ever did the spoiler. I don't know. These quotes that the direct is pulling from is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so apparently they shot a drone out of the sky over the set of Secret Invasion. That's wild to me. That is super weird, man.
And like, was someone packing heat on the set that they were just like,
I mean, I think they have this is probably the wrong tech, but like, ultrasonic, you can just disable it, like maybe EMP, you point like an EMP gun at the drone and just like knock it out of the air. I don't think it's like an actual gun.
that's technology that exists.
Yeah. It's like military stuff. Yeah.
And Marvel has it.
Well, I mean, I guess probably presumably the security on set. Yeah.
I mean, if Alec Baldwin can shoot one of his coworkers, I guess we could shoot a drone.
Sure.
These sets, it's a Wild West on these sets. Anything could happen.
I tell you, I'm gonna dress up as a drone and try to get on set. See what happens. See what kind of gun they shoot me with.
Oh, all right. You dress up as a drone. Yeah, I'll hang you from like a rope.
I would love that.
I was picturing you like at the end of like a fishing pole. And like me, like send him out there.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm working hard to try to get some guests. That was the story I was going to tell you the other day, or before the thing. I've been trying to get Josh Freese back on, and because he's a rock and roll drummer. He just got signed with the Foo Fighters, he joined the Foo Fighters as their drummer, and all this kind of stuff. And I've been like emailing his contact and like, hey Michelle, what's up? Just checking in. And I'm gonna turn this stupid music for like, I don't know, probably every day, maybe at minimum 4 times a week, I think about that interview we did with Josh last year, and I think I blew it. I think I did a terrible job, and I'm like embarrassed by it, and like I think I did an awful job, because at one point he's like, I gotta go soon. We kept him for like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, and I had told him like 20 minutes. But he was just like rolling with it. Yeah. So I'm like, oh God, I screwed up. Anyway, so then his person just wrote back to me, and she was like, yeah, if you thought his schedule was hard to manage before he joined the Foo Fighters, just imagine what it's like now. But I will keep you in mind if he has something open. I'm like, okay, even if you're lying to me, I appreciate that. It makes me feel better. So some nice personal anxiety issues got lifted today, and I feel good about it.
Well, that makes me happy.
Yeah, too. Me too.
I'll sleep well tonight.
What is sleep? What means to sleep? All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate it. And, don't forget to go over to the Discord. Just search EarzUp in your Discord app or whatever, and I think it comes up. And come hang out with us. And it's also in the link of all the shows and stuff like that, too. So check it out. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you.